Namaram Vishnu Vidaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachalini Netse Shishanyavadi Praskachaki Satarani. So yes, I'll just add an end note. So I was at that Rath Yatra in 1973, 20 years old, looking a bit different to how I am now. And I've been told, distribute magazines. Actually, it wasn't BTG. It was a Rath Yatra souvenir book magazine. So I was trying to distribute it, and then I realized Prabhupada was dancing. Then I thought, I can distribute books every day, and that's what I was doing. But I will only see Prabhupada dance once, maybe twice. So I put the books, the magazines away, and I joined in the kirtan around the circle of Prabhupada. I think I made the right decision. Would you agree? And Prabhupada was ill. He'd come from Calcutta, and he was feeling ill. And he gave a short talk at Nelson's Column, and then he went to Seven Berry Place and lay down and rest. He was feeling ill, actually. But I did see him dance. It was very graceful, very wonderful, and something you meditate on. You meditate on that. So it's an advantage for me because I actually saw it. You're hearing it, of course, from the lips of Ramanuja Prabhu. So my offering, dear Srila Prabhupada, I worship herewith the lotus feet of all devotees, advanced, Mada, and Chota, neophyte. I request all of them to be satisfied with me. So that's Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, Chaitanya Charitamrita. He's not distinguishing. He is, but he's not. So Chota, small, Bada, big. We respect all Vaishnavas. Prabhupada said anyone who comes to Krishna consciousness is good. So that's how you start off, good. Srila Prabhupada, your dear first generation of Diksha disciples is gradually fading away like stars, being covered by a cloud. You are the brilliant pole star shining next to the moon of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and our Guru Varga. Guru Varga means our line. We're in a particular line. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, Bhaktivinoda, I believe these early followers were directly sent by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to assist you in establishing your personal preaching mission, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. This mission is your personal contribution to our Gaudiya Sampradaya. So Prabhupada said this, that his contribution, all the acharyas contribute in different ways. Jiva Goswami contributed by writing Tattva Sandarbhas. Bhaktivinoda had a particular contribution to establish the integrity of Vaishnavism in India. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, he contributed in a particular way in India. And Prabhupada, he took it out of India. And many of Prabhupada's followers, disciples, grand disciples, they're also contributing in a particular way, some by publishing books, some by, as Brihat Maharaj will explain, the audio messages of Prabhupada, some by constructing temples, some like Ambarish Prabhu, who we should all pray for, who's responsible for the energy, if you like, behind the TOVP temple. Of course, many wonderful Vaishnavas are involved. And then a devotee like Shruti Prabhu, who came here to South Africa when he was 19. Can you imagine? 19? And then he came here and he preached. So these Vaishnavas are being sent by Lord Chaitanya, even now, to contribute, to help expand, but in different areas, in different ways. Like Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, Nigeria. So in different ways they're preaching. Everything is going on by the inconceivable mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That which was impossible is now becoming possible. So there's a reference in Adi Leela, chapter 17, text 1. And that reference is Agata Agatam Patiyasya Shakti. You got that? Can you repeat it? So the Lord has many Shaktis. Sat, Chit, Ananda, pleasure-giving potency, eternality. Even within the material energy, we have earth, water, what else? Fire, air, ether, mind. So this Prabhupada included in Adi Leela 17:304. Agata gatums patyasya shakti. That which is impossible has become possible. So that's what we see now. This ISKCON movement is going all over the world. In the Kali Yuga, and the Kali Yuga is moving fast. You've seen in the last, since COVID, fast. It's moving really fast. People are becoming extremely degraded, very degraded. There are wars going on all over the world. At any one time, there's 50 conflicts going on, some of which we know. Ukraine and Russia. Others we don't hear about so much, like Sudan, etc. So that which is impossible has become possible. May interest you to know that the Bhagavad Gita we have now in 60 languages. So that really means something's going on. The Srimad Bhagavatam in 30 languages, and the Chaitanya Charitamrita in 20 languages. So we're preaching all over the world. There is a praying yuga, a golden age within this Kali Yuga, and we are part of it. So this is the impossible becomes possible. Akatams, Gatams, Patyasya, Shakti. How else could we, your followers, continue to cooperate in this dark age of confusion, misinformation, mistrust, misinformation? You never know the truth, right? Politicians on the internet, they say this, they say that. They meet with each other in Alaska. You never know really what's going on. It's misinformation, the Kali Yuga. But despite all personal, an important part of our bhakti includes the ability to cooperate with each other. In other words, it is the yoga of cooperation. So I had a realization about this. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he left his body, apricot, and he didn't leave any definitive advice as to whether there should be an acharya or who that should be. He just wanted his disciples to cooperate and continue preaching. But unfortunately, they couldn't. They weren't able to cooperate. You could view that, if you like, as a criticism. In their own way, they preached. And they tried their best. And they formed their own particular institutions. It's called Gaudiya Math. So they tried. But they weren't able to really cooperate, to sit together. Devamrita Maharaj, he gave the example, their cooperation is once a year coming to a ceremony celebrating Bhaktisiddhanta's appearance, having some prasadam, and then never seeing each other again for another year. But we see within the ISKCON mission, there is definitely a higher degree of cooperation. And senior Vaishnavas are able to a certain limit, cooperate, sit together, decide. So, the yoga of cooperation. One person, if you have one person, in Unit 7, chanting, it's very nice. One person in every unit chanting in their bedroom. But if they get together and they go on the road and chant, it's more powerful. Well, Prabhupada gave the example that one piece of straw is not a dangerous weapon, but when it's bound together, it can bring down an elephant. So to cooperate, we can call it institutional cooperation, if you like. Institutional cooperation, but it's important to sustain this mission. So somehow the Lord Chaitanya has blessed the leaders with this ability to, with the idea of pleasing Prabhupada, a degree of cooperation, which wasn't there amongst the original disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. And those disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta were also very advanced. But unfortunately, they didn't have that special mercy given by Lord Chaitanya. They weren't able to really work together. After Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur departed from this world, the preaching continued, but potency had been lost. Srila Prabhupada writes, quote, now this is a quote, amongst Vaishnavas there may be some difference of opinion, and this is due to personal identity. But despite all personal differences, the cult of Krishna consciousness must go on. So it did go on, but not as powerful, as potent as when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was physically present. So now there's a revolution, as I mentioned, Bhagavad Gita in 60 countries. 60 editions. 60 editions, different languages. And that's the bona fide Bhagavad Gita as it is, not Bhagavad Gita as it isn't. 50 years ago, on October the 5th, 1975, you placed your divine lotus feet on the land of South Africa. So Prabhupada went first to Mauritius. Spent 3 days or 4 days in Mauritius. Then you came with your secretary, Harikesh Prabhu, and our own GPC representative, Pusta Krishna Maharaj. Apartheid South Africa immediately became blessed by your presence. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 1:13-10. Bhagavad Vidha Bhagavatas Titi Bhuta Swayam Vibo Titi Kravanti Tirtani Swantmastena Gadapitaha. My Lord, translation, my Lord, devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified. Because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart, you turn all places into pilgrimage. So Prabhupada came on that Sunday, the 5th, And then his debut talk was at Durban Town Hall, Tuesday. So he turned Durban Town Hall into a holy place. And that was Tuesday. Thursday he went to Reservoir Hills. And we did in a marquee, so he turned that place into a tirtha. Friday he went to Lakshmi Narayan Hall. And the following Sunday he went to Peter Maritzburg. So those were the only programs he did in KwaZulu-Natal. So as Ramanuja Prabhu was saying, we should read Prabhupada Leela Amrita. 6 volumes, and then there's a 7th called Prabhupada Leela. It's very important to read this, and it's light reading, it's not heavy philosophical. It's something you can easily read. So it's good to read it. And Satsvarup Maharaj, his beloved disciple, did an excellent job. It's a really nice presentation. It's almost perfect. Every example in Prabhupada Leela Amrita. Bhakti Chumaraj told me a story that he was in Mayapur and he was with Prabhupada, and Prabhupada asked for some afternoon juice. I think coconut juice, dog juice. And Srila Bhakti Chumaraj, he looked everywhere and couldn't get it. And he had to rush out and get it. And Prabhupada became a little transcendentally angry. And eventually Bhakti Chumaraj gave it to Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada actually apologized to Bhakti Chumaraj and said, you know, I'm getting old. And when you get old, you get a little, what is the word, snappy?
Cranky.
Huh?
Cranky.
Cranky. Thanks, Ramana. You get a little cranky. So Prabhupada apologized to Srila Bhakti Chumaraj. Now Bhakti Chumaraj told that story to Satsvarup Maharaj, that Satsvarup Maharaj did not include it in Prabhupada Leela Amrita. Why? You're all intelligent. Think, why did he not include that pastime? Because there was no third person to confirm it, which meant, and Bhakti Chumaraj told me this, how particular Satsvarup Maharaj was. You had to have a third person. Otherwise, anyone can say anything. Prabhupada said to me, you know, do this, do that. You know, there's no confirmation. So this is how sacred is Prabhupada Leela Amrita. So I really recommend you read it many times. This year, the South African Yatra is celebrating the 50th anniversary of your visit here. Your Divine Grace stayed in South Africa for 19 days, which is quite long in those days. Usually his visits would be 5 or 6 days. So 19 days was quite significant. And was the esteemed guest at 7 large hall programs in Durban, Pietermaritzburg, Johannesburg, and Lodium. We did 7. At that time, we, brackets, 10 disciples, that was this one, 10 disciples, had a rented house in Yeovil, which was in a Jewish suburb in Johannesburg. I was designated a pujari, a gardener, a handyman, a book distributor, a jack of all trades, but master of none. Though I saw myself as a fool, my godbrothers kindly tolerated me, Ramanuja Prabhu. Mr. Krishna Maharaj. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has said, "Why do I always forget I am the most insignificant and the meanest of all living entities?" It's a famous statement by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. Why do I always forget I'm the most insignificant and the meanest? But actually, he's the eternal associate of Radha and Krishna. Not even Vaikuntha, or Ayodhya, or Dwarka, Vrindavan. Eternal associate, a very close associate of Radha and Krishna. But he's saying, I'm the least, I'm the meanest. And then now, 50 years later, even though I am a sannyasi and a Diksha Guru, I still feel foolish. ISKCON South Africa now has 20 temples and preaching centers with over 2,000 initiated grand disciples. I don't know if it'd be more than 2,000. Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj thought it was more than 2,000. The Yatra hosts 11 Rath Yatras, 28 Food for Life branches. Food for Life, extremely important. And 5 Govinda restaurants. Most importantly, we are distributing 50 to 60,000 of your transcendental books. So we're trying to translate into different African languages and reach out. The books are Srila Prabhupada's most important contribution, because the book is always there, and it's the pure Vani of Srila Prabhupada. The obvious question is, how is this happening in the age of Kali? The answer is by your desire. You have invoked Akatums Gatums Patyasya Shakti, which means the special Shakti of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that allows the impossible to become possible. Since your divine departure, we have not only maintained your mission but increased it. Your beloved first generation of direct disciples are gradually fading, and our original South African congregational members from the 70s and the 80s are also gradually leaving their bodies. So we see this. Some of our older congregational members there gradually leaving their bodies. Many of your senior disciples have already shuffled off their mortal coil. Brackets, Hamlet, William Shakespeare. I always have to insert William Shakespeare. You referred to this old age when you visited Jagannath Puri with your disciples. So this is from Prabhupada Lilamrita, a quote. Prabhupada is saying, I came to Jagannath Puri after appearing for my BA exam, and because I was jubilant, I was jumping. And the water and the waves came and I was jumping. But now I'm walking with a stick. The body changes, but I remain the same. So you will also, at some point or other, have a stick. It's either the danda or the walking stick. And you become tripada, three-legged. 48 years after your Divine Grace's departure, we as an institution are still cooperating. This spiritual cooperation is preparing us for birth in Prakat, Goloka Vrindavan. The Lord's eternal pastimes are going on in some Brahmanda at this very moment. So 5,000 years ago, Krishna's pastimes took place here. Not South Africa, but Vrindavan. Then when they finished, these pastimes went to another universe. in the material world, though, because there's billions and billions of universes referred to as Brahmanandas after Lord Brahma. So when you leave your body, if you're mature and you're Vaishnava, then you'll take birth in a spiritual body in those pastimes. And there you will continue to make advancement. And then when those pastimes are concluded, you go back to Goloka Vrindavan, spiritual world. Prabhupada has described this in Krishna book, chapter 28. He's used the word, if you are a mature devotee, you take birth in the Lord's pastimes in this universe. But in this Kali Yuga, it's very difficult to become mature. And there's a lot of mercy from Lord Chaitanya. Tumi Vaikanta Paitava. Srila Haridas Thakur said, Tumi, you, Tumi Vaikunta, have taken Paitava, P-A-I. You have taken everyone to Vaikunta. And then Lord Chaitanya said, well, what about the trees and the shrubs and the animals? And Srila Haridas Thakur said, no, everyone. Sakla Brahmanda Jivera. Everyone, every jiva, not just human beings, not just Chatsworth or Phoenix, every living entity. And he says it 6 or 7 times in Anshya Leela, chapter 3, which I encourage you to read. Sakala Brahmanda Jivera, Sakala Brahmanda Jivera. So, in Lord Krishna's Prakat Leela and Aprakat Leela, all the residents of Vrindavan are serving one another in a mood of Anagatya Bhav. It means to follow, to serve. I pray that someday I can also become one of those followers. Anugatya, it means follower. You don't want to put yourself at the front. You're willing to be behind. Anugatya. So I finish by saying, it is stated in the Ujjvala Nilamani. Ujjvala Nilamani is a very sacred book. And when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta told his father, I was thinking of printing it, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, no harm, you can print it, 1 copy. And that's for you. So it's about the pastimes of Lord Krishna in Vrindavan, particularly in Madhurya Ras. It's not something for open discussion. It's very exalted and it's not for public. But nevertheless, I quoted chapter 4, text 1. Radha and Chandravali are the best among the leaders. Their groups contain 10 million gopis each. The scriptures say that the rasa dance took place on the bank of the Jamuna with 1 billion gopis. Satakoti. What is koti? 10 million. Sata, 100. 2 noughts onto 10 million makes 1 billion. So you might think this is ridiculous, but anything and everything is possible in the spiritual world. So 1 billion, 1 billion. My dear spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, you are kindly giving your sincere followers entrance into this sublime Leela. I hope that one day in the future, walking behind your divine grace and walking behind your God brothers, God sisters, and followers, and our Guru Varga, I can also be counted as one of those 10 million. I would like to offer my humble obeisances koti times to all the Vaishnavas throughout the world, whether advanced or neophyte. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Prabhupada's contribution, personal preaching mission, ISKCON ki, Go
His Holiness Partha Sarathi Das Goswami Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So we're very happy that Maharaj spoke. It was a little tentative that he may not, but we're very, very privileged that Maharaj has come and graced us with this wonderful offering. So for those who are